So I wanted to make a quick impromptu video about some things that I was thinking about. Sometimes I think that maybe it would be good to have a separate channel where I can talk about anything and everything that doesn't have anything to do with astrology. But I wanted to talk about like this idea that like you can't please everybody, because I feel like where I and so many other people fall into, kind of the trap that a lot of people fall into, is kind of comparing yourself to others and feeling like you have to measure up to some kind of way of doing things or some kind of standard. And I think the only way that I can one of the ways that I can kind of take the first steps from getting away from that paranoia of like, I have to do my content a certain way, or I have to do things a certain way, or I have to live up to a certain standard, is to realize that, well, you know, I can't please everybody anyway. And it's like, well, it's better to just find what your way of doing things is, or kind of just like do you and like be a better version of yourself. Because if you're like, I mean, if you're trying to please everyone, or if you're trying to be like everyone else, like what does that mean? Because there's so many different people out there, and there's so many different types of YouTubers. And yes, some types of YouTubers, let's say, are more successful than others because they are a certain way, because they're able to present themselves a certain way. But it's like, well, if you're not in the place in yourself where you're willing or able to be like that, is like, then it makes sense to just be yourself and like to kind of be a better version of yourself and give what you can give. So I don't like the idea of maybe you know, people saying, well, you should be doing things this way, you should be doing things that way, on one level, because it's like, well, it confuses me, because it's like, well, there's so many people out there anyway, and like I can only become a better version of myself. I can't become somebody else, and I can't become like everyone else, because there's so many different variations within that everyone else, if that makes sense. Some YouTubers are like this, some YouTubers are like that, some people are like this, some people are like that, some people are like that. So you know, there is a certain way to become successful, let's say on YouTube and things like that. But I personally, it was never my focus to, you know, I've kind of borrowed from that concept here and there, but it was never been my focus to try to be a certain way in life, as a human being, or on YouTube. So I think the only way that I can, well, one of the ways, let's say, that I can kind of just stop myself from falling down the rabbit hole of comparison, or beating myself up for not being a certain way that I see other people be on YouTube or otherwise. It's like, well, if I remember that, well, I can't please everyone anyway. And it's not about being selfish and only pleasing myself for something as well. It's just like, take what you have and take what you can, like give what you can give. Use whatever you have and give that in as best as you can, in as much of an effective way as you can, because you're not going to be anybody else anyway. And so, like, yes, there are certain kinds of content that becomes more successful, or certain ways of doing things that are more successful. But if you're not there yet, let's say, or if you have no interest in being there, or whatever it is, it's like, just do you, and then the right people will find you. It's like you just have to find an audience, or the audience has to find you. You know, so if you're giving of yourself the way that you can give, then the people that are aligned with that will hopefully find you, and they will find your videos, or just you in life. I mean, in real life, I do have an issue with sort of meeting people that I click with, and finding like-minded people. I do have a few, but I mean, not many. And it's like, you know, there are certain issues with my social life and things like that. But I think that with people, for people who are maybe in different circumstances, maybe living in a bigger place or something, like the city or something, they're in certain environments, then they can probably more easily find people who align with them just by being who they are and showing up as a better version of themselves, an authentic version of themselves. And so you can kind of find your lane, and you can find people that gravitate towards that kind of lane, or people who are on a similar path. I mean, I can't preach about this fully because I haven't found this fully myself either yet. But I know that it doesn't help me, and it doesn't help my anxiety. It doesn't help my certain, tendencies of becoming obsessed or like, paranoid about something. It doesn't help if I'm constantly thinking about, well, I have to live up to some kind of standard or have to do things a certain way, and that's just my personality, as well as there's certain things in my astrological chart and stuff like that that kind of points to this tendency. So that maybe I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to be like what I think that I should be like, if that makes sense, or try to follow certain trends or certain things that I don't, that I'm not aligned with, that I'm not like energetically aligned with. If that makes sense. So I think I don't think I'm the best version of myself that I can be, but I know that worrying about what I'm doing in a way that I'm comparing myself to others or other people who are doing similar things, that just makes it 10 times worse for me. I can't be doing that all the time, because if I'm constantly looking at what other people are doing in a way where I'm looking at it in a negative way instead of as an inspiration, then that just is, I might as well stop then doing anything, because that's when I get down. I do think it's obviously possible and beneficial to look at people who are doing similar things to you and see how they're doing it. But also it's okay, in my opinion, to just do you and like do a better version of you, or whatever you can give, you can give. You can't give anything other than what you have, or what you are, trying to cultivate, let's say, as well. So there is a certain level of ambition that is there. You can have a certain level of ambition when it comes to improving your content and improving yourself as a human, and as what you're doing, what you're doing. But you can't just become something completely different that doesn't align with you, or that isn't in your frame of, it's not in your energy field, or it's not in your, it's not part of you. It's not like around you. You don't know this. Like I can't talk about sports cars or something in my videos, because that is not my area. I don't know about sports cars or whatever it is. I don't know what like, I'm not going to be able to convincingly convey a message of talking about these kinds of things, because it's not something that is familiar to me. And of course I could learn about it, but if it doesn't interest me, I'm not like, I'm kind of going off track probably, but if it doesn't interest me, then I'm not likely to read about it so that I can make videos about it. I would just be kind of reciting the information. It wouldn't come naturally. So I think it's better to just do you, and like, at least, to a certain degree. Like I say, there's a certain level of ambition that you can still have, but it's better to do you and what aligns with you. And you, like, if somebody's like, let's say, getting upset with you or getting mad at you for doing things a certain way, and like not giving of yourself enough in their eyes, well, then you can say to them, well, I can only give what I can give at that time. And that's something that I wish I could have said to a few people previously in my life, like who have said certain things. I wish I would have kind of calmly told them, well, I'm trying my best, and I'm doing what I can do right now, and I'm giving what I can give right now. So I can't give something that I don't have, if that makes sense. So I don't know, when I watch this video back, it might be very messy, but I just wanted to give a few of my just off the cuff thoughts and ideas about this. I have no idea what I'm going to call this video, but we'll see. So thank you for watching. If you want more thoughts from me, do subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any observations of your own or thoughts about this. I'd love to hear them. And leave a like if you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching.